All right, it's 1 o'clock. We're going to call the meeting to order.
This means business.
Seriously.
Wake up.
Roll call, Howard Haggard,
Present.
Diane Jordan,
Here.
Todd McDaniel,
Here.
Chad Sargent is absent, Brenda Walters.
Here.
Tom is present.
Item number 5, recognition of guests. Thank you guys for coming. Item number 6, do we have any public comment?
Is that me?
You can do that when we open up the public hearing.
Okay, I was just asking when. That's okay, I'll just.
Okay.
She said we do.
You do?
Do we have a speaker?
Yes.
She said yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me see if I can. Do we have a speaker?
Yeah, Misty's bringing it. I think there might be a couple on it.
They're all for the, public hearing, so we can just.
Okay.
Okay. Other public comment will be held for the public hearing. Item number 7, consent docket. The following items are considered routine by the Board of Trustees and will be enacted with one motion. Discussion desired on any item, that item will be removed from the consent docket and considered separately. A, approval of the May 6th and 2026 regular meeting minutes, and B, approval of payment of claims. Anybody have any discussion?
I have none. I make a motion to approve the consent docket as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call?
Howard Haggard,
Yes.
Diane Jordan,
Yes.
Todd McDaniel.
Yes.
Chad Sargent is absent, Brenda Walters.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item number 9, treasurer's report.
Alright, May numbers, lodging tax, $152,009.29. Our sales tax was definitely up at $424,305.99. The same with our use tax, $14,301.96. Even with our cigarette, it was up higher than usual too, at $1,991.25. We did have quite a bit of court revenue, thanks to Officer Taylor.
Table.
Yeah, his last name Taylor. 2,860 for the court. We did get our quarterly payment from Choctaw Nation, $19,600, bringing our total income to $640,107.34. You can see we had 13 first-time license, and then on the back, you can see that our sales tax trend month over month, we're up 42%, and then year over year, we're up 6.84%. For sales of in-your lodging, compared to April, you know, we were down, but that was spring break numbers for April that were, you know, while they're super high.
Yeah.
But year over year, pretty consistent. It was down just a little by 5%.
Julie, do we know how our sales tax was up 42%? Can we identify that?
No, but
Yeah, month over month at 42 was based on a spring break month
That-
versus a non-spring break month.
Okay.
That's the year.
That's usually my first guess on every holiday.
So the year over year, from the same month of the previous year, we're up almost 7%.
Okay, that makes more sense.
And then I would identify on that tax revenue for the lodging tax also. We tried that transition, we had that rolled out that was unsuccessful, and I feel like that we may still see that caught up. in the months to come, but I feel like that unsuccessful
When I looked at
rollout.
it, that's what I was thinking,
Yeah.
that rollout with Granicus was.
I feel like that's,
I
I
got
feel
the
like
phone
that's what the
call on
problem was.
Okay, just checking, thank you.
All right, any further discussion? Make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
I'll second.
Hal Hager,
Yes.
Diane Jordan,
Yes,
Todd McDaniel.
Yes.
Chad Sargent is absent, Brenda Walters.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item number 10, Town Administrator's Monthly Report. Adam?
were you busy this month, Al?
A little bit, but hey, we got a lot of roads done, lots of road activity, lots
So
of
road
road
work being
maintenance,
worked on this morning too.
lots of meetings. Yep, I got a little bit on that for you here in just a second. There you go. All right, so for starters, we have great news. Okay, so I heard back from the Surety Company, which is the bond holder over the Camp Ranch and Choctaw Hills project. They are going to allow MKP an opportunity to stay on as a contractor, which is wonderful because they do incredible work. So basically where we're at now is they've given Keaton with MKP a directive to go out and get a price quote on how much it's going to cost to lay asphalt to finish both projects. He anticipates word back from the bond agency. The inspector anticipates word back from the bond agency about a week and a half from the date that he receives the price quote from Keaton. So really we're kind of waiting for Keaton to wrap up his numbers, get it over to him, and then from that date it will be a week and a half before we get word back on whether that's been accepted, and then we'll know a date of which the actual construction can begin. So any questions on that one before I move to our next road project?
Good.
Okay. All right. So Old Hochatown Road, as everyone hopefully saw today, we're seeing some significant progress on that one. So this week we wrapped up the remedial grading to prepare for asphalt to be laid, which began today on the westbound lane. So far, as the eastbound lane goes, which was the first pass that they made, there was a significant error, and this is because the contractor chose to lay asphalt the day following significant rainfall events. We had about 4 inches over the last few days. They didn't wait for it to dry up, and unfortunately the asphalt is failing. So that will be left in place temporarily while we lay the 3 inches of base for the westbound lane, which is what you're seeing today. And then once that has been cleaned up and we've worked on a couple of other areas on the project, we're gonna keep moving all of our heavy construction equipment on that eastbound lane, so that way it will start to kind of showcase and reveal to us a little bit more of the failure of that base that has been laid on the eastbound lane. So you're already seeing it fail a lot of places. It's already been marked up, it's documented. All of that will be cut out and taken out, and in some areas the base will actually be reworked, and then we'll lay new asphalt. And then after that, we still have a 2-inch pass, because this is 5 inches of asphalt total, and what we're getting on the ground right now is the 3-inch base layer, and then we'll come up with a little bit of a finer asphalt laydown, and that would be the 2-inch lift, and then it should look all uniform once we get that top finish layer on. So right now we're going to try and push all that construction out to kind of get it to reveal its failure a little bit more to us. Anyone have any questions on Old Hochatown Road? We anticipate it's about 300 tons of asphalt that needs to be cut out and replaced.
Any estimate on completion date?
No, not a completion date at this time. I need to see how long it's going to take for them to come out and do that saw cut demo work for us to get the bad sections out. Then I'll have a better understanding for that. But hey, really positive news about Old Hochatown Road is that we're still going to come in under budget. So even though they're going to have to replace that asphalt. So everything is still going according to plan, and we're coming in under budget. So really great news for us on
What was your
both of
grant
those.
on that one?
Huh?
What was your grant on that one?
It was $125,000.
Okay.
Yeah, $125,000 grant from Keto on that, and we did get the grant extension if you guys
Right.
remember. So that way we have till July for closeout. So we're in really good shape there. As far as just kind of our overall road maintenance operations, we made a really big push for Memorial Day in anticipation of our big visitor traffic flow. We had a lot of rainstorms, so our contractors were busy anytime the storms were letting up for us to get out there and start doing some of that blade work and some of the patching just to make sure that we had good road conditions for our visitors for our holiday weekend. Getting into our actual projects here, our other daily routine projects. We had a mass power outage on the 19th, which kind of showed to us that the intersection, the traffic light at the intersection of 259 and 259A, the battery backup failed. And actually what was really interesting to me about this one is that we believe the battery backup got fried because there is so much iron and so many metals inside of our ground, inside of our earth, that it shoots that kind of electricity out and it carries that current. And so we believe that some of the grounding units that were placed for that battery backup is how it got fried. Was even though the lightning strike wasn't anywhere really near it, it still shot enough of that current to go over there and start messing with some of the machinery. But we worked with HPD was on scene very quickly with me, so I just want to say thanks to Tayden for showing up and helping take care of traffic during that time because it was super dark, pretty scary intersection. We waited for ODOT to come out, put up some temp signs, and by the way, ODOT did give us 2 4-way temp signs, and they're sitting in the back right here. And so anytime we have any other outages, we can just run out and place those up, and we don't have to wait anymore for someone from their maintenance division to come out and set the signs up. So we'll be in good condition. Spoke with Anthony Kelly today actually, and he did confirm that they did replace the battery backup at that light. So all 3 of our traffic lights here in town should be in operating condition should we have any other mass power failure within the community. Storm sirens and sound plan map. Chief Gilbert and I, we had an engagement meeting with a potential contractor to develop a storm siren and mass notification system, which would serve kind of like a dual purpose. This would consist of storm sirens that be able to send a signal for actual tornadoes or tornado warnings, as well as having a secondary notification purpose of notification of wildfire. So we're kind of looking into what some of those proposals will look like, what some of those cost estimates are, and they're going to do a preliminary sound plan map that kind of shows how far out these notification systems, these storm sirens, will send a signal based upon the topography and the elevation changes of our community, which Skip here, I reached out to him this week, and he's jumped in to help kind of give some GIS data to the guys, and they're going to continue working on that map for us. So that way we have an understanding of how many storm sirens and where they need to be located, most importantly. Had several planning meetings this week with our planner, Jessica. She's on the line here today. She'll be here throughout our public hearing for the rezone today. There she is. She just turned her camera on. Hey, Jessica. So if you guys have any questions for myself or for her during this process, just feel free to reach out or just yell at the TV and she'll help us out. We applied for the Municipal Road Drilling Activity Fund grant. That one we applied for $250,000 for Sugarberry. Applications close on that in September, so it'll be a while before we hear back on that one. We engaged with Matt Love for assistance with the court system. That's later on in the agenda, you'll see that. And we kind of been talking about that over the last month anyways. Skip and I had a wonderful meeting with Weyerhaeuser. Do you want to kind of get into the details of that in yours? Yeah, okay. We had a great meeting with them. We covered a vast number of things, and what's really important here is that meeting has helped us expedite the road easement for Luke Fada. And again, I did touch base with Joan last night, and she said that she should have an update for me on Thursday and Friday. And again, she explained that the reason why this road easement has taken 6 months to get is because they've had like a mass turnover in their legal department. And so she's just kind of trying to stay on to them as they go through that transition process. Hosted Planning Commission meeting workshop on the 13th, which ran about 3 hours. That was a very extensive one, but I'm thankful for our Planning Commission members here that are here today for sticking it out and working through it all with us. That consisted of overlay ordinance, consisted of architectural design standards, signage regulations, and the additional commercial zoning regulations that we're looking at adding. So anything else, any other questions or concerns for me?
Nope.
I like the fact that we got to finally get some action done on Luke Potter Trail, trying to get those easements in there.
Yep. Oh, and
Get some work done over there.
design is at 80% on Luke Flata Trail. And Jeffrey and Charles met on site today to go over some of the last bit of their drainage concerns at the low water crossings.
When do we, say we get all the easements at 80%, when do we expect work to maybe start?
It's going to be 30 days from whenever you allow it to go to bid. And I would really suggest that we don't go to bid until after we get that last easement locked in. So we're ready to throw it out for bid. I mean,
Is there any kind of plan to do any kind of maintenance work on it before?
we've completed maintenance work before Memorial Day. We did a series of patching, and then we fixed a lot of the drainage issues after the first intersection of the first mile. And you start to kind of go up that grade a little bit. There was all that washout on the corners. We brought in some TBSC, and it kind of helped expand the lane width a little bit easier for cars to get by. And then we also did some cold patching over there all through up and down Luke Flata in preparation for Memorial Day. So if you're seeing anything start to come apart or any areas of concern, let me know, and I can get our contractors out there to jump on
With
it.
maybe 4th of July, having something done before the 4th.
Like
The big holiday.
It's
like
another holiday.
to have the entire
No,
road
no,
resurfaced.
no, I'm
or-
talking about just maintenance work to fix any issues before.
Yeah, absolutely. We can just stay on top of it. And if you want, you and I and Charles can go meet out in the field, and we can just drive through it and go over any concerns for it.
Sounds good.
Okay?
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do we- Item number 11, town department head reports. First one is police chief. It's Chris here.
You ready, chief?
He's petting the dog.
Just wait for air to come back in the room.
This is what we do.
Oh, okay.
That's what I thought. Touched all the bases, covered everything. Great job.
All right,
So another busy month for the police department. I'm gonna spare y'all all the day-to-day stuff. So we had 25 plus traffic stops, 19 citations for the month. 2 DUI arrests, 2 public impounds, 2 drug arrests, 2 warrants served from our municipal court. Shooting investigation, domestic violence investigation, 2 mental health, suicide interventions. As always, a lot of medical assist with EMS and the Hochatown Fire Department. 8 noise complaints and 6 motorist assist. We attended 7 community events, and our K-9 handler, our newest officer, is interrupting the meeting.
How many weeks does he have? He did 4.
4 weeks.
So are we done? Or we do like
Well,
6 or 8?
now the real training starts.
Right, okay.
So if nobody in here is afraid of dogs, we can bring him in.
What's his name?
Neshoba?
Neshoba. Neshoba was the original district name for our area, but it was Indian Territory.
There he is. There's our new K-9 officer. Hey, buddy.
Neshoba's a 2-year-old Dutch Shepherd. Very friendly.
Good boy.
Lots of social skill.
He has 1 speed, 100.
One speed.
How old is he?
Miles an hour.
How old is he?
2-year-old.
Good boy.
He was born March 9th of 2024.
You want me to throw your ball? We just play. Y'all go ahead.
You got his vest and everything headed our way?
Yeah.
Good. Glad to have him on board. Uh-oh.
Where'd it go?
Take it, Todd.
There you go.
Neshoba with an A or an O?
Take him outside.
Chief Neshoba, N-A or N-O?
N-E.
Spell it. N-A.
Or N-E.
Nashoba.
Is it N-A or N-E? Sorry.
What I got? All right, thank
Very
you,
good.
Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Chief Gilbert. Your report, sir?
He might even shorter than Chief.
You didn't bring a dog.
I didn't bring dog.
I bring some of the guys that posted dogs.
Yeah. We've been pretty busy as well. I think we had 44 calls. I sent to Shelly yesterday. We had 2 this morning, 2 wrecks this morning already. It's been a pretty busy day. Hopefully we can get. I got a guy on the agenda to be hired today, and the Knox box stuff we can talk about when it comes time. We can like get brought up. I think it's on the agenda as well. Other than that, I don't have anything. We're sitting, taking care of business.
Do we wanna talk about a knock box while he's here before he gets called off on the next track?
I mean, I can tell you about it, just what it is, so in case there's any questions. I know that Liz did the resolution for it. All it is a box that commercial buildings would put on the outside of their buildings. We are the only ones with a key to it. The business doesn't even get a key. It stays in the engine in a lockbox. They have to put in a code to get the key out, so we know who gets the key out. But instead of tearing up commercial doors on businesses for a smoke check or an alarm, we can unlock the door. So it saves the business owner a lot of money from damages.
Okay.
So they're fairly cheap. They're about $400 or $500 a piece on average. So it's not a big expense to the business owner, but it's a lot cheaper than replacing a door.
Okay.
And one thing we clarified on that is, and we had a conversation about this, is do we wanna have every single STR have one of those? So we exempted the STRs expressly out of the statute, and it's just normal, traditional commercial buildings. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Thank you, Chief.
Sir.
Mr. Copeland, you're next.
I'm gonna give you the Mayor Todd rather than the Mayor Chad version here. Things running together a little bit between HDA and the municipal work now because of obvious reasons, right? So let's just go from the top here. So we've had on our STR compliance, we've had a real push with Granicus, set a deadline for them, had a false start with that, and so we've gone back to the drawing board with them. I feel like there's some urgency there now. Adam and Julie can attest. I think that we're seeing a higher level of quality service from them. We're definitely getting a higher level of employee from them rather than an entry-level type service technician. We're now getting people with the word director in their name, that kind of thing. So that's helping us. We were able to get our registry put together and rolled out June 1st. We're still working on the master registry piece of it. We still don't have any kind of digital connectivity with the courthouse. So that's still a batch process where we have to go get a jump drive, bring it over, upload it. So it's still a very manual thing, even though we're working in a digital environment there. But I would say that as far as the mapping and the rollout for the new Granicus solution, I feel like we're on target for it. We do have an agenda item about Granicus on here today. I'm happy to elaborate on that when the time comes for the agenda. But it is a procedural thing. This is not a punitive thing with them. It's procedural, and Liz and I can explain that better when that time comes up. Wastewater infrastructure, again, I briefed you last month about the fact that we've started looking at site location again because of a variety of misses on our waste load allocation formula. We had a very productive meeting with Weyerhaeuser. We brought in Christy Bennett, who is their Senior Director of Land Assets. She and Joan Isham came. Adam and I spent the day. We went and toured their area. We got time, that's what that was. Yeah. Anyway, we toured with them. We looked at some opportunities that they have with us. She's taken that back to Tacoma. We threw a couple of other options that are other than wastewater as well, some things that we're interested in. So we feel like we're going to have some real interesting conversations with them this summer as soon as their management team kind of gets, an executive team gets brought up to speed on that stuff. And I'll keep you posted on that. We have an HDA meeting in a couple of weeks and we can talk more specifically about that. We also will talk about our own land and property items that we have that's better suited for the HDA meeting rather than this one as well. So I'm just going to skip over those. We've had quite a bit going on with regard to our GIS, and I think we're at a place now to where we feel a little more confident. We've got an interactive map that's ready to roll out. We also I've negotiated an upgrade on our new website with Civic Plus. That's an agenda item. I think that's number 19. Again, I'm happy to elaborate on that. But what I would tell you right now is that there's no additional cost. That contract cost that's on there is exactly what it was previous. It's just that we've moved to a premium product rather than their base level product, which their service level on is going. It's going to be a better item for us. And again, when that item comes up, I'm happy to elaborate a little more on that. Talking about public information, we had a lot going on. Shelley was really busy this month with a lot of things happening. We've started to collaborate a little more with the Broken Bow Chamber of Commerce on ribbon cuttings that happen inside of our municipality. I think that's a good thing. I think that gets our people engaged a little more as well. We had 3 of those this month. We had a very successful cleanup day. Hats off to Lindsay again. She's in the room. She did a really good job of helping keep us organized, and then I see a lot of faces in the room that actually were there with us that morning as well. I thought it was a really great team building event, along with getting some actual cleanup done along that stretch of highway at 259A. So that one was wonderful. We helped with the Murph Challenge, thanks to all of our public safety guys who helped with that. And we had a variety of weather-related incidents as well that we had to kind of keep the public informed on during the course of spring break. And we had some high water road closures. That's something that we want to talk about in a little more detail in the weeks ahead. We think we have a pretty robust plan to go with that, but we would like to roll that out in conjunction with our tornado and wildfire alarms and some of those things. We would like for that to be a little bigger plan. Also, I'm continuing work with U.S. Forest Service on our community wildfire prevention plan and their wildland urban interface project. That had significant movement this month as well. Again, that's probably a topic better suited for the HDA meeting, and we'll bring that up and talk about it in a little more detail 2 weeks from today. And you know what? None of the rest of this really is irrelevant. That's all I have, unless you have any questions for me. Everybody good?
Yes.
You bet.
All right, that's the end of item 11. On to 12, discussion, consideration, and possible action to open the Hochatown public hearing for comments and questions pertaining to the request to rezone a 1.81 acre parcel located at or near 427 Stevens Gap Road, being a portion of the south half of lot 19 and a tract lying in the southeast quarter of the northeast quarter and the northeast quarter of the southeast quarter of section 35, township 4, South Range 24 East, McCurtain County, Oklahoma, from its current residential designation to a commercial designation. Make a motion that we go into public hearing.
I'll second that motion.
Howard Haggard.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Todd McDaniel.
Yes.
Chad Sargent is absent. Brenda Walters.
Yes.
Motion carries, and it opens at 1:27. Ma'am?
Yes, go ahead.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. Members of the planning committee, trustees, neighbors. I want to thank you all for allowing me the opportunity to come here and speak to you all today about this project. My name is Miranda McKinney. I'm, along with my business partner here, Lori De Silva, are the owners at 427 Stevens Gap Road, the subject of today's rezoning request. So before I talk about the project here and some of the materials that we brought to really explain the decision at hand here, I want to address the neighbors who came to the public hearing last month. I want you guys to know that I heard your concerns, and I understand. I totally understand. If I heard that there was a development going into my next door to me, I would also have some questions. So we've spent the last month really kind of thinking very carefully and grabbing some more information, doing some more research, and really being more thoughtful and careful about how we can make this project coexist with the surrounding properties. Trustees, I'm here today because I love Hochatown, and I see that there's a need within this community, and I'm asking you today to allow us to build something that fulfills that need. So my connection to Hochatown happened actually several years ago. I purchased a cabin here, and much like many people, I fell in love with the area, I fell in love with the community, I fell in love with the people here, and just the unique characteristics and charm of Broken Bow. As I became more and more embedded into this community, as I managed and oversaw my cabin and my property, I started to see something and observe something that I saw that a lot of people who work in Hochatown often can't afford to live here, or there's no available housing for them to live out here. So these people, being the cabin managers, the restaurant managers, the construction crews, the maintenance crews, the hospitality workers. So it was really simple to me. The people who support this economy, the tourism economy, didn't really have an opportunity to live here, and that struck me. One person specifically who impacted me was Sean Graham, who was our cabin manager. He would have to travel over an hour both ways to get to the cabin, just to get here to work. And at first, when we purchased this land off of Stevens Gap Road, there was a couple structures on there. One of them was this like dilapidated mobile home, and Sean and his wife rented that out, and they lived there because they just needed a place that was closer to work so that they could lay their heads at the end of the day. And that really struck with me, and it made me realize something really simple. The people who are essential to making Hochatown tourism work should have the opportunity to live in Hochatown. And that realization is what led us to pursue this project. This truly is a passion project for us. This isn't a short-term investment. We aren't wanting to build an apartment complex and just walk away from it. In fact, I sold that very cabin that initially brought me here to fund this project because we believe in it so much, and we really think it's something that this area needs. We aren't asking this community to invest in it. We've already invested in it ourselves because we believe in it, and we believe in the future of Hochatown. We've spent many years actually planning. We first bought this in 2023. So we spent years planning, consulting with engineers, developers, environmental professionals, and local officials to ensure that we're approaching this project responsibly. We've spent time to do our due diligence even prior to the planning committee going into effect to make sure that we are doing this safely and we're following proper safety and environmental standards, making sure all of that was being met. Because our main goal was we want to do this right. So we've completed a geographic soil test to understand truly what is underneath the ground and what's going to be required for a septic system to support this kind of project. We've been working very closely with the Oklahoma DEQ. We've been in numerous conversations with them, truly really understanding the water waste requirements and what would be needed for a project of this magnitude. I want to assure you all that the final development will comply with every requirement regarding septic capacity and environmental standards. We want you to know that we have not finalized the number of units that we plan to build because really it depends on the DEQ. The final number of units that we build will not exceed what this property can safely support, which is dictated by the DEQ. I have firsthand experience with septic system maintenance, and I understand everything that goes into it. And I want to tell you that we're wanting to aim under for how many units the DEQ recommends, because we don't want to stress out the septic system. That's one line that we are not willing to cross because we know how much of a nightmare that could be. So regardless of what the DEQ's recommendation is, our goal is to aim under that so that we can make sure that we're truly in the clear with this. I know that there's also been a lot of concern about the traffic. And we were also curious about this, and because we also wanted answers and not assumptions, we hired a traffic professional. We consulted a traffic engineer actually to evaluate the impact of what this project would do to Stevens Gap Road. And he pointed us to a lot of research and a lot of studies within this area actually. And through that assessment, we found that the apartment complex going in on Stevens Gap Road, even if we maxed out the number of units we could possibly build, which is not our goal, even if that was the case, the traffic would increase by 1 to 4%. That's it. And if you think about what kind of development this is, that makes sense. We're not building some huge tourist attraction. It's not going to be a venue or a shopping center or anything like that. These are going to be residents who are driving to work and driving back home at the end of the day, much like any other neighborhood. My partner here, Lori, is going to talk a little bit more about that traffic assessment just to give you some more details and more information about what really went into figuring out that statistic. I also want you to know that we are committed to minimizing the impact as much as possible to the surrounding neighborhoods. So we want to be thoughtful during the construction period. For this reason, we are committed to waiting until off-season to start building, just so that we can help minimize any of the potential temporary traffic that our construction crews might cause. So we'll be making sure that we do this in the off-season to minimally impact the area. There was also concern about the type of people who will be coming into these apartment complexes. Our target audience is truly the hardworking individuals who are traveling into Hochatown on a daily basis to work here. So they're people who are already embedded in this community. They just have to travel from far away to get here. Every resident will be vetted with a background check, and we will not let anyone operate a short-term rental out of their unit, so this truly will be citizens of Hochatown, true residents. I understand the fear of the unknown, I truly do, so I really hope that the information that we're bringing with you all today helps kind of alleviate some of those concerns that were brought up last month. Now I'd like to discuss the current zoning situation and what the current zoning specifically, how it impacts this project specifically, and ultimately what it will make the end result of this project look like, because ultimately that is what this rezoning request is going to determine. So we brought renderings today of the site plan because we felt that seeing it could actually tell a better story than words ever can. So the image to the right shows the original site plan prior to the zoning ordinances going into effect. When we purchased this piece of land in 2023 with the intention to build this project, our understanding was we would be able to build in that full commercial buildable area zone on the right there. That was our understanding. As you know, in April of 2024, the Planning Committee elected that all parcels touching Stevens Gap Road would be commercial and all of the internal parcels would be residential, which makes sense. Our lot though is over 2 separate parcels. So what that means is that back portion of our property got looped in with that residential classification. And that is why we are here today. And ultimately, what effectively what that does is create two very different outcomes for what this development is gonna look like. So to really talk you through what you're looking at here on the site plan, I wanna hand it over to Jeff Elder, who is our main developer on the project.
Hey everyone, can everyone see this clearly? So what we have here is, this on the left is showing what the current zoning is as per the ordinance. This line right here demarcates the first parcel and then the back parcel. So this is the residential zone that Miranda was talking about. This would be the commercial zone. As per the ordinance, we're required to have a landscape buffer between all residential properties and commercial properties. So obviously, when you own both of those parcels, it creates this, weird condition where we now have to have a landscape buffer to our own property. And what that would mean is we would have to do an actual fence in the middle of the property, basically slicing it in half to achieve this 25-foot landscape buffer. We're also hit with this utility and access easement on the east side of the property, which to our understanding is only there because there's two parcels. So this is really meant for a driveway to come in to, get to our back parcel and run utilities back to it. So if we were to basically make this all one, we obviously would lose the utility easement that we would be required to have. And then, so since the setbacks have to come from all property lines, we're hit with an additional penalty of having setbacks from both boundaries of this parcel. So it creates a much tougher situation to do anything, from a development standpoint, when you have all these things to contend with. On the right, this shows if we were to combine both properties, how we could have a more continuous area to build on, which in a sense, you have a denser development here. To put anything on this front part, it means we're gonna have to go up instead of be able to go out. So currently the height requirements that you have are 35 feet, which is essentially a 3-story building. So if we're supposed to, basically stick to just this side, we would be forced to kind of stick within that 3-story structure and then use the rest of the property, for the other parts of the project. On this side, we would have, the ability to do a couple smaller 2-story buildings rather than a larger 3-story building on the front part. So it allows us just a little bit more flexibility. We still keep a nice buffer. We're keeping the 40-foot setback, to that property all the way around. Right now, the commercial property next door, which is an RV park, I believe, it comes all the way here. So this is all commercial. And then this side right here is all commercial. So from this line back is all residential. So we're gonna keep that buffer there no matter what, so that our neighbors are protected. And then it just gives us a more workable area. So just to kind of give you an idea of what we have in mind for this property, we've put together a rendering of what you would see. So this is actually, you know, the scale of one of these apartment buildings and the quality that we're looking to go for. You know, if we have the ability to do a couple buildings meandering to the site rather than one large building, we can achieve just a 2-story, more residential type construction. So,
Yeah.
kick it back.
And ultimately this here is our initial vision. We want to build something that fits in with the look and feel of Hochatown, something that fits in and looks like it should be there, right? Not something else. So our original vision was for these 2-story buildings designed to fit the character. They would be cabin style architecture that people know and associate with this area. It also gives us the ability to kind of, like Jeff said, put those buildings kind of spaced out a little bit further, which allows for kind of a better environment for the residents who would live there. Building more like this is cabin style. We feel that the rezoning request would allow us to do this. It also gives us the ability, to spread out, and it gives us the ability to have meaningful space between what these structures would be and our neighboring properties. If this rezoning request is not approved, we don't believe that we would be able to do something as seamless as these buildings. So as Jeff said, we would have to go up to 3 stories as the maximum allowable height rather than those smaller styles that would fit in with the character of Hochatown. So that's kind of the variable at hand here. At the end of the day, we want to be good neighbors. So we want to build something that the community can be proud of. We want to create housing for the people who actually work here. And we want to do it in a way that respects the character of Hochatown and the residents who currently already live here. Hochatown is growing. The tourism industry is growing. The businesses are growing. You all know that. And to support that growth, we do have to think about the sustainment of where the people who support that growth are going to live. So workforce housing, it's not just a development issue. It's not just a community issue. It is an economic issue. And it's part of ensuring that the people who serve this community every single day have an opportunity to be a part of it and be a tax-paying Hochatown citizen. Today, I'm simply asking you guys to give us the flexibility to build the best version of this project that we can, a version that best fits the character of Hochatown, a version that provides meaningful buffers to all of our surrounding neighbors, and a version that serves the workforce that this community depends on. My partner, Lori, and I have invested a lot of time, a lot of hard work into this project. We truly, truly believe in this project. We've invested our resources and our hearts into this because we really feel that this is going to be something positive for the area that is really needed for a lot of people who are within the Hochatown community. We want to work with you guys. We want to be here long term. We want to be here for the future success of Hochatown, and we respectfully ask for you all for that support today. I'd love to hand it over to my business partner, Lori.
Good afternoon. I'm Lori De Silva. I'm an accountant with a background in construction accounting. I have been a landlord and in rental property for over 27 years. I oversee all rental aspects, vetting tenants, sometimes lawful evictions when that's necessary. And so I will be overseeing the management of the apartments. Miranda and I fully intend to oversee the management ourselves. We're not just going to turn it over to someone else. And I just have a little bit of data to share with you on the traffic concerns that I think one of the residents brought up previously. We had a transportation engineer who referenced a study that was done back in 2023 when the Choctaw Landing Resort was completed, and based on standard trip rates, Initially, our vision was for a 24-unit complex. And so we'll wait on the original, or we will wait on the final word for DEQ on that. But everything that he quoted us on this traffic study was based on a 24-unit apartment. So when I say these numbers, that's based on 24 units. So based on that, 24-unit apartment complex would add roughly 11 to 18 peak trips, and that's in the peak travel time, typically a 1 to 4% increase. And then the apartment complex, that's often, studies have shown that single-family homes typically generate more automobile trips than apartment units, and that's typically because single-family homes have a lot more cars, and sometimes they have more residents. And our apartment complex is specifically intended for workforce housing, so that could potentially reduce the number of trips or long-term trips coming into Hochatown because their distance to travel to work would be a lot shorter. Multifamily housing generates typically fewer trips. And at 35 miles per hour, I know the Stevens Gap Road was a big concern. Our key is to have a clear site for entry and exit. Hopefully, that would eliminate that traffic issue there. And the basic driveway design, vegetation management, which Jeff is working on, traffic effects remain modest and manageable, even at a 35 mile per hour speed.
That it? That's it.
No more speakers?
Yeah, this was it. I left the different people in.
I'm Helen Harden. I'm a resident of Choctaw Hills. Had my property since 1992. I lived there full time. It was always my husband and my plan to retire at our property in Choctaw Hills. And although your property is not in Choctaw Hills, it certainly adversely affects my neighbors and also quality of life as a whole. I understand your passion and you're wanting to provide these housing for workers. It's just unfortunate that you've chosen the location that you have. I believe that there are other more appropriate places that multifamily would be accepted better. Even though it doesn't directly affect me, it does affect our quality of life as a whole, especially my neighbors, the Batsons and the Wilsons. They're going to be taking the brunt of what your apartment complex is going to do to them. And that includes the increased traffic on the Stevens Gap, and even though you have your traffic study, there will still be increased traffic, no matter what the traffic study says. Even though the DEQ says that, you will be working within their requirements, there will still be the sewage. No matter, how you will protect and appreciate the environment that you're destroying, that it still be destroyed. And no matter how cozy your apartment complexes look, it still is a blight on the scenic drive down to one of the most beautiful lakes in the country. When I was part of the planning and advisory committee for the comprehensive plan for Oklahoma, one of the major themes that came up over and over again was protecting the natural beauty of our environment here. And once that's gone, it's gone, and that's why the tourists come here time and time again. So I'm here pleading with my board of directors of my town, where I live, to protect the neighborhood and to protect the environment and to protect our peace Because no matter what they are saying right now, our neighbors are still gonna have to deal with the trash, the noise pollution, the increased traffic, and the sewage of 48 to 72 residents, depending on how big they want to build their buildings. And another thing that I kind of clued in on their presentation was almost kind of threatening that if you don't give them what they want, they're going to, build a 3-story and make it worse. But if you give them what they want, they'll make it a little bit nicer for us. And so I was very disappointed in that. So anyway, I hope that you will vote like it was them wanting to build this in back of your homes. So thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I got something. There's a local church.
Yeah, identify yourself,
Hold on,
sir.
hold on a second.
Okay.
It's a public hearing. It's a public hearing. But he does need to identify himself.
Yeah, please tell us your name.
Sean Graham. I'm a local, technically live in Hbot now. Used to live in Hayworth. We did have to move closer because of our business here in Hochatown. It was an hour and a half each way. Depends on if we went to Carter Mountain West. But the thing of the traffic, and it's not a big deal, but the length of the drive was an hour and a half. We're spending maybe $1,500–$1,600 in fuel a month with 2 vehicles, me and my wife. So when Miranda offered us to rent her, it was an STR at the time, then she let us rent it. So we rented it, and it helped out tremendously just to be here, be local, be in the things that we have to do. Then it's just for the people that drive from DeQueen, that drive from Antlers. We have cleaners that drive from Antlers and DeQueen, and people that could find affordable housing that's not outrageous, like people talk about the Choctaw housing in Broken Bow. They're not looking to go above that rate. They're looking to stay in something more economic pricing for the safety of the area, for the people. But the other thing, there is a church right there, RPM Overdrive, y'all all heard of it. It sits 100-something people. So even with the traffic, there's people coming out there that there's no stipulations against versus someone residents that can go half-mile down the road. And versus the summertime, we don't know how much traffic comes there. We just know it backs up for miles. So just a community complex like that is not going to affect the travel ability for people entering and coming in and out of the lake. Also, like y'all say they are, and hurting the environment of the places. Everything we do is the beauty of structure, so it's not going to hurt nothing environmental. Besides, they said they'll stay below the rating that the DEQ says. So that's not a problem versus all these properties that are overpopulated and that has way too many people in the cabins that does overwork the septic systems. They're wanting to do something in the lateral of keeping something below to keep it where it is. Bendigo's used to have that terrible smell. We all know it. I don't know if they fixed it, but they're doing something to stay underneath that and do it the proper way from the beginning of construction. So everything they do is lined out perfectly, and they care about the community of the people. They also have like long-term rentals in Brookbone, Idaho, so they care about the community, and they realize the shortage of housing around here. So nothing's going to affect it like they say it's going to do. It's the thing is, do we want it or we don't want it? That's what it comes down to. And you got to think of the people and not for ourselves. And that's all I got.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, I do. I've lived in Hochatown now for about...
Identify yourself, please, ma'am.
Pardon me?
Can you identify yourself, please?
Oh, I am Cheryl Batson. I live in Hochatown in Choctaw Hill,
Thank you.
right next to that piece of property. Okay? So, first off, it was a surprise when they went in and just cleaned the slate off the whole property, left nothing. No natural trees, no, the natural flow of the creek, all of that has been changed. So now you want to put in all of these apartments that are going to be above, that we're going to have to look at, even with a 10-foot fence. And I don't know how many children or how many people or what their hours are or where they work, but you're going to have people that won't stay in their little section. They'll be roaming. They can walk the roads because those are legal, they'll be roaming through the neighborhood. Back in the woods is okay, but when they start walking the roads and going and seeing what all's out there. I have a pond, and the last thing I want is a kid to cross my property and drown in my pond. And that has to be, they have to have that circle of, you're gonna have to have something to entertain the kid. Because we have had, and nothing against anybody that's going there, we have had people in Choctaw Hills, that have gone through and raided and stole at night. Kids or one particular person, but we don't want them running through there. We don't want them walking through our property. It's all marked private property. No trespassing. Just because there are rentals there is to keep them off of our property. That is our property, and they can look at it by the road, but they don't need to walk through it. And the children and bored adults and partying and whatever are gonna start, hey, let's see what's over here. Well, look at this. Why don't we just take that home? Because it happens. And that many people in that complex, in that area, is more people that are the residents of Choctaw Hills. And so as far as trying to, and there's gonna be a drainage problem. I don't care what anybody says, but the rain comes and it goes, and it's gonna be right down that, right in your property, right through there. And when it rains and it comes from at least, maybe a half mile up a hill, out of the woods into there, it's running. And it's gonna be a gusher. So then you're gonna have the problem of keeping the kids out of the probably nasty water. So if you can keep your kids in your fenced area and your resident, but we have had people, we had to have, a person went to jail because he was roaming the neighborhood stealing stuff. And the last thing we want is people or their kids roaming the neighborhood to see what they can find in the yard. And it is not a favorable view, not at all.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, if there's no more speakers, I'll make a motion that we close.
So we have our own discussion or just close?
That comes next, right?
Yeah, you can close the public hearing and then continue motion.
I'll make a motion that we close the Hochatown public hearing for comments and questions.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Howard Haggard,
Yes.
Diane Jordan,
Yes.
Todd McDaniel,
Yes.
Shannon Sargent is absent, Brenda Walters,
Yes.
motion carried. Public hearing is closed at 1:58 p.m.
Item number 14, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the request to rezone a 1.81 acre parcel located at or near 427 Stevens Gap Road. We're going to rezone, the request is rezone from residential designation to a commercial designation.
I would like to ask Jessica if she could elaborate on how the discussion that they shared with us, how does that fit into our design plan and our comp plan that we've been working on now?
Yeah, so, and I just want to make sure I understand you're talking about the comp plan, that is just the draft, it's not adopted yet.
Correct, yes.
Yes, so this site is designated as housing in the new comp plan, and the draft does specify that multifamily dwellings and multiple units over 3 units is not appropriate for this site as it's been designated. So it's similar to the zoning in that that site's designated as residential. And then as far as the zoning code that we're working on right now, I mean, I didn't get to see their architectural renderings or elevations, but if they could meet the architectural standards that we're working on, which if it's a cabin style architecture theme, then they may, but unless they can provide specific materials. I would also like to note that they would be subject to the regulations as they're approved at the time of the building permit application. So it may not be what is in place today, it'll be what is in place when they submit for their building permit. So they would have to adhere to all of the new zoning regulations, assuming those are approved before they come in for a building permit.
Thank you, Jessica.
Okay. Did you attend the housing conference with Oklahoma Academy? Did you attend that one?
Yes, I did. No, I didn't.
Okay, I didn't think you did, but I wasn't sure. One of the things that I attended about 3 years ago, 2 years ago, I can't remember, was the Oklahoma Academy housing discussion. And as Brenda knows, they are very robust. And we actually talked about high density apartment complexes, fitting in with communities, but there were so many other alternatives. And of course I was there for workforce housing. They also talked about, homeless housing and affordable family housing. So it was a broad discussion. And so when I specifically Choctaw Hills, Timber Ridge, Beavers Bend Village, which is not in our town limits, but some of our historical residential neighborhoods. And I know that Adam and Justin, we probably don't have that information, but how many abandoned properties do we already have where infill, single family unit dwellings, it might be a better fit to address our workforce housing through some of that infill development, which would, any blight where those old mobile homes were that have been in Choctaw Hills, taking some of those blighted lots might be a better solution for workforce housing. So that comes to mind, is that I think we also have options for that besides a 24-unit apartment complex. But what bothers me the most is, Hochatown wasn't incorporated for a long time, and we couldn't help what was happening. Say, oh, they've built all these cabins and they've cut down all the trees and they're building on top of each other. We had no control over any of those things, which was one of our main reasons for incorporating. And with staff, we now have planning and zoning for the very reason that these residents are here. Is where does the scope creep stop? And commercial is commercial for a reason, because we do need that. We need that economics. We need people to be able to have jobs here. But when we zone it that it's residential, and then we give a variance for it, well, then what was the point of having residential? If we're going to continue to give variances because it's convenient or because we want to expand the commercial, I think we need to leave commercial where it's at, and residential needs to be left for residential.
I have a question for you guys about this specific property. It's not over our heads that we need affordable housing here, but that property to me would seem better suited for other purposes. Have you guys made an effort to maybe do land swaps or something with another piece of property that may be more appropriate for what you're wanting to do?
So we haven't looked into land swaps specifically. We were focused on this piece of land because it's centrally located, and we thought it would be a good location for the individuals who work here, so they're not commuting from hitting the highway. So to answer your question, no, we haven't looked into land swaps.
I mean, is that something you guys would be interested in maybe doing? I mean, if you're wanting to build a multi-family complex like this, I mean, to me, there's properties within a mile of you that would be better suited, and you wouldn't have to go through such hoops to achieve what you're trying to do. I mean, that's just
a thought. Yeah, I mean, we can certainly look into it, but we were hoping to make the property that we already have work.
I can understand that.
Well, because the bottom line is 90% of our property is zoned commercial. It's that back piece that got zoned residential. So, and when we bought it, the entire property was zoned commercial. Or so we were told by the realtor. So, I mean, that's how it was marketed. And so if you look at that, the bulk of the property is commercial. So we just have that you know, piece in the back that got, because there's two parcels, and we own both parcels.
You mentioned that you talked to local officials. Can you tell us who you talked to?
About,
I mean, it's unfortunate that we have this discussion. You know, I mean, we want everybody to know what they can do and what works. So when someone says, well, local officials told us that this would be fine, what local
we can
officials
tell
did
you who our realtor was, and that's who marketed, you know, the.
Okay, I wouldn't call a realtor a local official.
Yeah, we've ran into several development issues where property owners were misled by a real estate agent telling them that this was zoned commercial, and in fact, there was no zoning designation granted to that parcel whatsoever because it was an unincorporated piece of property, and it was before zoning regulations were built and before we had a comprehensive plan passed as well. So we get those phone calls quite often, and I'm sorry that happens, but unfortunately, it's a reality that we face, and that's why we're here. We're here to help, you know, with those
Because we don't want
understandings.
that to happen.
And as far as the local officials that we've been consulting with, mostly it's Adam, and before the planning committee was truly put into place.
I mean, we specifically didn't move forward because it didn't feel right to us to move forward in an unincorporated. We waited. We knew that the incorporation was coming. We were dealing with the state of Oklahoma because we said we're not gonna do this outside of any kind of regulations. So.
We had public hearings though prior to this, and you guys, we had lots of people that did protest and were converted, but you guys didn't.
We never got a notice, and that may have been from the two parcels. I mean, because originally the owner of that, I think, split that up into multiple parcels, and he still lives on a part of that land in the back. And we had from day one, we had issues with him getting our mail. He was getting, you know, they had the parcels mixed up, so
we were even paying property taxes for a property
paying
that wasn't
property
ours.
taxes on his parcel, and he was
So
paying
we're
us
still
ours.
sorting that all out,
Yes.
but that's why we weren't informed
On
because.
a point of order, our public hearing is closed. Appreciate the comments. Unless this board specifically asks a question, we need no more comment from the public. Okay. Thank you.
I think the need for what you're trying to provide is there. I think there's a way we can accomplish what you guys are wanting to do. I just don't know that property is at the recommendation of the committee, the zoning committee. I don't think we want to. No matter what is decided here today, I don't think that's the end of anything. I think that there's a possibility or options out there for you guys to be able to do what you want to do and provide this housing. And I hope you guys seek those. If it is decided today that we're not going to rezone that, I don't want you guys to think that that's that we're against what you're trying to do. I think this town is for that, and it's a needed thing. And so I hope whatever happens here the rest of the day, that you guys move forward and we try to get to an end that where you guys do get what you want and what you're trying to do.
It amazes me that, I would say amazes, it's ironic to me that this is coming up today. Went to commissioners meeting last Monday, county commissioners meeting last Monday, and as everybody knows, these AI units trying to come in, data centers. 3 or 4 years ago when we was talking about incorporating and I was talked into this. Anyway, what I've learned, what we've gone through, how we've grown. One of the hardest things that there is to do, and I'm the same way, I'm very proud of my property. I don't want anybody trying to tell me what I can and cannot do with my property. But when I look at when I came up here in 2000, and what me and TC have built since then, it was the Wild Wild West show. And that was one of the purposes, as Todd says, one of the purposes of being incorporated, to slow down and get control of what's going on up here so we can have some type of planning to it, some type of organized chaos, if you want to call it that way. But one of the hardest things that you can do is try to tell somebody what they can and cannot do with their own property. And I understand that. But if we're going to come together, if we're going to incorporate, if we're going to come together as a community, we have to work together, and we have to have certain considerations. We have to take a lot of personal feelings involved here, and I understand that. Mine too. I agree with Todd. I think there's a need for this, for housing in Hochatown. Definitely is. Is this the right place? I don't know. I'm not, but I think there's a need for it, and I think there's a way we can work together and figure out how to make this happen somewhere in Hochatown, so.
Can I make one small comment before anybody makes a motion, only because I've experienced this before? And I don't know what all work you guys have done on the backside, but I'll give you two things to consider. If you withdraw your request for rezone as currently presented because you think you may be able to propose a different rezone that might be more acceptable, I would suggest you do that before they vote, because if they vote and they vote no, you are banned for a certain period of time for requesting a different rezone. So that would be the only thing that I would counsel, is if you think there's something that you can change in your rezone request that might address this, don't let it go to a no vote. Withdraw it and give yourself the opportunity to re-present it. Alternatively, if you think you could move forward without a rezone on just the one portion, then it wouldn't matter if it got denied. So just from the legal perspective, I wanted to let you know you have the option to withdraw it if you want to re-present in a different format so that you're not barred for, I think, is it a year?
Yes.
I think it's a year before you could present a different rezone request. So if you need like 5 minutes to step outside and talk about that before they take a vote, I just wanted you to have that piece of information about not having you would have a year that you couldn't request a different rezone. So just putting that out there.
And we will definitely take a recess, 5-minute recess.
Yeah, if we can do that, that would be great.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
5 minutes.
Okay, we're
Call
good.
meeting back to order. 2:19.
Together, they all sit.
Board, after visiting with the applicants, I think they have an announcement that they would like to make for the board.
Yes, after meeting together and discussing it, we would like to go ahead and formally repeal our zoning variance application at this time, so that we can potentially explore some of the options that you guys have recommended. We think there's a lot of merit to that. And that we certainly want to be good neighbors and do the right thing. So just giving us a little bit more time and not, tying up the property in any sort of, lock up with the year timeline. So it's this time just formally request that.
Liz,
Yes.
got a question for you.
Yes.
Can we accept his verbal right now, expecting something in paper later? Do we need something in
I
writing?
don't think you necessarily need anything in writing, since this is a formal meeting. We can just have the minutes reflect that
Okay.
at the hearing, the application was withdrawn with the right to resubmit at a future date.
Okay.
What did I say?
She
She always corrects, yeah.
Oh, sorry, what I said.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys, thank you.
Thank you, guys, and
Thank you.
you have a good idea.
Yes, yeah, you might put his name and title as the person who withdrew.
And before they get away, let's go ahead and make a motion, take no action on this at that time. Do we need to do that?
I make a motion that we take no action.
There's no action to take.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, guys.
More discussions.
Miranda? Miranda, you've got mail.
Awesome, thank you so much.
No problem.
Okay. We're on to item 15.
So now we can talk about.
All right. Item number 15. Discussion, consideration, and possible action to enter into an agreement with the Little River Conservation District for hog removal services in the amount not to exceed $12,000.
James is here.
This kind of came from me at several phone calls. We caught, Adam, help me out. How many pigs did we catch last year? Right at 50, I think. Oh, there he is. There he is.
He's the man.
There he is.
50 head at about 8 different locations.
8 different locations.
And it was headed for your part of the country, and we got them all for that time being.
Got them all of that.
50.
50 head.
Okay.
50 head.
And was that with 2 different contracts? Did we do
Just one.
Just one? And how long was the contract for?
6 months. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the same contract that's proposed today.
But I was thinking
Exactly.
we'd already done that twice, but maybe we didn't. Okay, so
This
just did the
one.
one and you got 50 then.
I mean, it was like almost as effective as if we did it twice. I mean,
Yeah.
they were quiet
Yeah.
for a while, and now they're starting
Yeah.
to spike back
It was
up.
amazing when he called, I was sending that picture, what, we got 23 or 27
That was one of the
night.
biggest
It was a
catches
big
at
haul.
end of July.
It was good, yeah.
So,
Do you find a particular time of year is better, like after the spring and, or just?
that's a million dollar question. A lot of times at the spring, like at the KTC, right at spring break, you can count your watch. I'll be sitting there at spring break because I'll just come through
Really?
and we'll catch 40 or 50 head every single year at spring break. There's a grub worm in that topsoil there at KTC. If you look,
Oh,
they'll
really?
just plow that thing. Yeah, it's pretty bad, you know. But anyway, but I catch them literally year round. Now, when it gets hot and dry, of course they're not moving. They're looking for water. So that's
Most
what-
of mine are nomadic, they'll come and go. I've seen 4 or 5 head 3 or 4 times in 2 months, something like that. Sherry, who was just here, Choctaw Hills National Forest right behind her. That's where part of this came from. And hers is sporadic too.
Yes,
But
sir.
anyway, I thought it was worth putting it on here for us to discuss. You know, let Jerry put some cameras out and see if we can trap some more. That said, I'll let you got anything. That said, I'd like to make a motion to contract with the Little River Conservation District for hog removal services for $12,000, and that's a 6-month contract.
I'll second it.
Howard Haggard.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Todd McDaniel.
Yes.
Chad Sargent is absent. Brenda Walters.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item number 16, discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve 60-day extension of the professional service agreement between the town of Hochatown and our Douglas B. Copeland under the same terms and conditions as the existing agreement, extending the agreement through August 2nd, 2026, in an amount not to exceed $15,000.
I'd like to make a motion to extend Skip's contract for 60 days, not to exceed $15,000.
I'll second.
Howard Haggard.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Todd McDaniel.
Yes.
Chad Sargent is absent. Brenda Walters.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Number 17, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding approval of engagement letter with Matthew J. Love Law for legal consulting services related to the operation and development of the Town of Hochatown Municipal Court, not of record, including assistance with court policies and procedures.
I've reviewed this agreement, have no problems with it. Matt is particularly versed in municipal court stuff, and so I said, I think that totally makes sense for him to carve off and help Julie with that issue and Chris with that issue, so.
Yeah, and I'll second what Liz says, and also, this is what Matt does all the time. And so it saves countless hours if I did it or Liz did it, because he already has basically a template he can work from. So it does save the town money and adds that expertise.
I've had a couple of meetings
Yep.
with Matt.
Gonna help you and Julie out?
Absolutely.
Both definitely?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's what I said.
I make a motion that we approve the engagement letter with Matthew J. Love Law for legal consulting services.
I'll second that motion.
Howard Haggard.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Todd McDaniel.
Yes.
Chad Sargent is absent. Brenda Walters.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 18, discussion, consideration, of possible action regarding the contract for municipal prosecutor between the town of Hochatown and R. Chris Chandler for the fiscal year 26-27. Is this just the same?
Don't everybody speak about it at once.
Just
Yeah,
renewal? Okay.
It's just a renewal. The only exception is I did add just mileage at the IRS for it because gas.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the only difference.
Make a motion that we approve the contract for municipal prosecutor with Chris Chandler for the fiscal year 26-27.
I'll second it.
Howard Haggard.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Todd McDaniel.
Yes.
Chad Sargent is absent. Brenda Walters.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 19, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the Civic Plus statement of work for the upgrade of the municipal website Central Starter Premium Project including website migration, hosting, security, training, AI editing, assistant, and payment processor implementation services with an annual cost of $7,119.95, subject to annual renewal and applicable contract adjustments.
There he is.
I'm going to ask you.
Yeah, go ahead.
What are your thoughts on this?
So I negotiated this. So we've had a long drawn out process with them trying to launch. As I dug into it a little more, what I saw was there were a couple of things that were like, okay, this is not probably what we need long term. As we started to talk about it, they dug into it a little more on their end and realized they were kind of discontinuing this product line anyway. So thanks for telling us, right? And so I basically reached out to them and said, look, we've gone through, this is should have happened a long time ago, and it hasn't. We take ownership in the part that we participate in, but you guys had a problem with it too. So basically what has happened is they've upgraded us to their premium product. It's exactly the same terms that we already had. There's no additional cost. I know it says $71.19 or whatever, but that's exactly what you were gonna pay anyway. So
You're saying they couldn't produce before, but now they're gonna upgrade us. Are they gonna produce now?
Yeah, so we are there.
Okay.
Like what I'm waiting on is for you to approve this. We send this document back to them. We will, when we do this migration, it will migrate to their premium platform, not to their basic platform.
And you believe this is their premium?
Yeah, don't put me on the spot.
Well, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna do my best to make the best that I can with this. Is this the right product for us right now? Yes,
Okay.
because we're invested in it already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excuse me.
So the only thing is, Julie, I know your calendar keeps getting fatter and fatter. Will you add, if this is an annual renewal, that we have a tickler 60, 90 days in advance so that we can say, are we still gonna keep doing this or not?
She and I share those calendar invites with each other.
Okay.
Good.
I make a motion that I'm trying to make sure I word it right.
Extend
Extend, is that right?
Civic Plus.
I would say approve
Yeah,
the
it's not
renegotiated
an
contract
extension.
terms.
Yeah.
Approve
Make a motion to approve the Civic Plus statement of work upgrade.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve the Civic Plus statement of work for the upgrade to the municipal websites
And then the total cost on there.
with an annual cost of $7,119.95, subject to annual renewal and contract adjustments.
I'll second that motion.
Howard Haggard.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Todd McDaniel.
Yes.
Travis Sargent is absent. Brenda Walters.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item number 20, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the purchase of 2 used Chevy Tahoe police pursuit vehicles for the Hochatown Police Department in the amount not to exceed $82,590 in accordance with Town of Hochatown Code of Ordinances, Section 3-1-5, F4, open market procedure, unique items as previously upfitted units specifically designed for public safety and law enforcement use and standards.
Is this 82.5 for 2 vehicles or each?
2.
For 2.
That was my question.
I got a lot happier, but go ahead.
Do you have the vehicle information?
It should be in your books. But
Okay.
one of them is a 2023 Chevrolet Tahoe.
See it.
It's outfitted with the same light package, all the accessories that we currently have on the other approved vehicles, so it will match perfectly. It has less than 48,000 or 47,000 and some change as far as mileage. And it's 48,000 and some change in the price. It's got a full police package. It has a canine insert in it. It has a court prisoner partition, so it's a multiple purpose vehicle for us. Can be used as a backup for a patrol unit, backup for a canine unit. Also gives us an ability to, if we have to pick up a dog on a dog bite or an aggressive dog, we have some type of vehicle to transport that in. If we can find a facility to take it to.
They take them to my house.
Another day, another story.
Chief, we have a quick question. We think this item might be duplicated on the agenda in 2 different ways.
Yes, that's what I was just fixing to
One
ask.
of them is added up
Something.
and then the other one has it separated out. Can you just confirm that we just need to do one of them?
Howard, is it in the budget?
It's in the budget for this year. Doesn't get into next year.
So the other one, the other Tahoe is, it's a 21 model. It has just shy of 100,000, but it has the same equipment package as the other one. So it gives us that same ability and usability in a multitude of ways as far as patrol, a K9 backed up unit, and a full one vehicle that we could transport an animal in if we needed.
Where will they be coming from?
Chicago Motors, and if we purchase them from them, they're shipping them to us for free.
Oh, good, okay.
So we would prefer to take no action on 20 and then take action on 21.
That's what I was trying to get at. Yeah, I think it was duplicated there. But Chief, one more thing, and I think that's what we need to do is take no action on 20, but then go to 21. But everyone remember, Chief and I had a lot of discussions about this, and I may be the instigator of this. You know, we've having so much trouble through one of our other providers of getting our K9 package here. We've been, 9 months, and we still don't have a K9 package. We've got our K9. We've been paying $25K plus for police packages.
Yeah, just the patrol package.
Just the patrol package is in excess of $25K.
The K9.
Total K9 is what, at 36?
About 36K.
About 36K. Both of these units got K9 packages?
Yes, sir.
So we're getting a free vehicle is what you're telling me.
Pretty much.
Essentially, I mean,
Pretty much,
one
but
patrol unit is roughly about $86,000 invested by one brand.
Well, that's what I was asking.
And,
But these aren't always available. I wish we would have seen these or had these available when we purchased the last three, but they weren't there.
I don't regret furnishing our new vehicles, but it's time to look at some used for backups. And
I mean,
sooner or later, something's gonna break down. We've already had one of our brand new trucks break down, so.
Today's a prime example. We didn't stage this for the meeting to justify this, but we had to put Clay's unit in the dealership today.
Oh,
They
did
had
you?
Some kind of an electrical
Really?
issue.
So,
They'll be
So now
covered.
Clay
That's the
doesn't
reason we bought new for them.
okay,
So item number 20, we will take no action. We'll
is
move
that
on.
the proper thing to do, Liz?
Yeah.
We'll take no action on it,
That's
yeah.
Okay, and then we'll move on to 21, discussion, consideration and possible action regarding the purchase of one 21 Chevrolet Tahoe police pursuit vehicle in the amount of $33,795 and one 2023 Chevy Tahoe police pursuit vehicle in the amount of $48,795 for the Hochatown Police Department. In accordance with Town of Hochatown Code of Ordinances, Section 3-1-5F4, open market procedure. Unique items as previously upfitted units specifically designed for public safety and law enforcement use and standards. I make the motion that we approve these purchases. Sorry.
I just wanted to ask Adam,
Yes, ma'am.
are you good?
Yep. Thank you for asking.
Okay.
I'm great. Yeah, these vehicles, Chief and I went over together, because I produced the unique item, purchasing policy from the
I think
town.
that's important for this.
We went over it together because he was asking, how do I get these bids on here?
Okay.
How do I need to frame this item? So we went over the items together, and the vehicles look great, and I think it's gonna be an excellent addition to the police department.
Okay. I'm good.
Good, okay. I make a motion that we approve the purchase of these two vehicles.
I'll second that motion.
Howard Haggard.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Todd McDaniel.
Yes.
Chad Sargent is absent. Brenda Walters.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We want to see that dog in action now.
I might just
You
get
can
him
come right out this weekend.
Get him
I will.
uniformed up.
Well, I like the idea about, I mean, we need something for our dog, but we're gonna end up picking up dogs, and we gotta figure that out pretty quick where we're gonna put them.
Actually have a call that came in during the meeting that it's over in,
Really?
yeah.
So are they taking the dog to your house?
Nah.
Well, I was thinking, I mean,
Couldn't
again,
even
you
hear
know,
that.
I mean, maybe Safari Park, petting zoo, I mean, maybe we can contract with somebody, you know, for
Anyway.
holding animals. Okay, next agenda item, we'll do that one later, but let's put it on a future agenda.
Number 22, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the approval of the Axon Fleet 3 Advanced In-Car Camera System Agreement and quote for the Hochatown Police Department, including hardware, software, licensing, storage, warranties, and related services in the total amount of $24,066.62.
Is this for all units?
This is for these two additional ones that you guys just approved.
No, we've got them in all the rest of them, this is for the two additional.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And Liz approved the agreement.
Okay.
Yes.
Chief, you saying that we're using these for spare units, we don't, or we have, this is minimal, only why I'm asking you, but you're carrying your laptops from unit to unit, we don't necessarily
They're
have to buy one,
exchangeable
okay,
from
you're
unit
interchangeable,
to
okay.
unit.
We had a motion. We need a
It's
second.
fixing to be. I'll make a motion to approve the Exxon Fleet 3 Advanced In-Car Camera Systems for our two additional, patrol vehicles for the amount of $24,066.62.
I'll second it.
Howard Haggard.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Todd McDaniel.
Yes.
Chad Sargent is absent. Brenda Walters.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 23, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding utilization of Oklahoma statewide contract SW1028 and approval of the purchase and installation of Geotab GPS fleet tracking systems and related equipment for the town vehicles at a cost of $150 per vehicle for equipment and installation, plus a recurring monthly service fee of $12 per vehicle.
So we have a minor revision on this one, and it's actually going to come in a little bit cheaper. So it's actually going to be $14.75 per vehicle, and so that brings our total to $147.50 per month. So that's going to be our expenditure with no installation fee. So they'll just go straight into the monthly service fee of $14.75. And that is provided at the very back of your Geotab tab. So at the front, you'll see the state contract, which is our agreement for services, which Liz has reviewed and has approved. This one was a little strange because what I'm used to, I'm not used to executing agreements through state contract. I'm used to individually having an agreement with us directly. But Liz has reviewed everything and provided us with the go-ahead. And then on the very back of it is, you'll see the price structure breakdown. Howard, I think you had a question?
Well, I'm seeing a total of 10 units. We've got, I'm just gonna say it. This is not just for police vehicles. This is for every vehicle this town owns.
Mm-hmm.
So every vehicle we got, I think we, now that we bought these two, I think we got more than 10.
Yeah, so it'll be an additional $14.75.
Whatever vehicle we get, that's gonna change. If we buy 2 more vehicles next month, we're gonna add another $14.75.
That's correct.
I mean, so, and this is just an ongoing occurrence, you know. Okay, but they dropped the installation cost?
Yeah.
Mighty nice of them.
So should we just?
Well, they got you on the hook every month.
Yeah, they got you on the
So,
hook anyway, but
that's kinda,
I think it's well worth the
give and take.
investment to track our vehicle, or at least, you know, we're not here to track them, we're not here to bird dog anybody. We're here to make sure that we protect our town assets and make sure we know where they're at, so we can protect them at all times. And we have discussed access to that software, and we already had that set in place, so who can access that and how it will be done. So I would like to make a motion to approve this installation of the geo-tracking devices for all of our town vehicles.
And equipment, correct?
And equipment.
At a cost of $14.75 per unit.
Yeah. Minus
what she said.
Minus the installation cost. $150 per vehicle.
Yeah, but no installation.
No?
You got that worded
Yep.
right?
So we have a motion and a second.
Who seconded it?
Diane.
Howard Hager.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Todd McDaniel.
Yes.
Chad Sargent is absent. Brenda Walters.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item number 24, discussion, consideration, and possible action to adopt ordinance number 27, an ordinance of the town of Hochatown, McCurtain County, Oklahoma, amending the town of Hochatown Code of Ordinances Title 9, Chapter 5, Fire Code by adding section 9-5-5 requiring Knox box emergency access systems for commercial buildings, providing definitions, providing requirements for new and existing commercial structures, providing for administration, enforcement, exemptions, penalties, severability, repealer, and declaring an effective date. Do we have all that other stuff in place?
Yeah, I think Chief got us on that one, so I'm good.
Yes,
Cody?
so this is on the Knox boxes,
Knox
right?
box.
So I ended up doing that as an ordinance instead of a resolution because I felt like it best went into the fire code. And that way it's built into our building permit process. So as you read that, people that currently are already in the city have 24 months to get their knock box. And they can get an extension upon reasonable request granted by probably our code enforcement officer. I think is how I have it drafted. And any new application for commercial will have to do it as part of their permitting process. So that's kind of how we have it built in there. And you'll look at the definition of commercial building at the front has a specific paragraph exempting and the STRs, which I pulled the exact definition of STRs from our lodging tax code that's already in place so that those match each other.
Okay. So this is an investment that the commercial business has to do. So you don't have to tear down their door,
Yes, sir.
essentially.
And what's the average cost?
I think they're running between $400 and $600, depending on what you get. And you can get like a wall mount, so like existing, if they're building new, there are recess mounts, they're flush with the buildings, they're a little better. But they're indestructible boxes that we are the only ones who can to. When they get the box in, it's locked, we physically have to go unlock it for them to put the keys in and we lock it.
Wow,
That way nobody else will get into it.
It's operated by a key code.
No, it's got a physical
Actual
key,
key.
and the key is locked in our truck, we have to order a box. If it sets in, they have to push in a code, so all of our guys will have an independent code, so we know who got that key out. So in the event the building was unlocked, we know exactly who got the key out.
Who actually got into it?
Do you have the master key? So does your lock key go to all the buildings?
Every Knox box. So
Oh,
the
each
Knox
one
box
is
holds
individual.
the key to the building inside. So if they've got a front door key and then a fire rating key or whatever, they're all in that box. We have one key that opens all of them.
That was what I was asking. Yours is the master key.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that was it. That's good.
Is there any research on, or have you looked into the impact on ISO ratings if we're able to get a certain amount of compliance with the Knox box?
I don't think they have any effect at all. It's
Okay.
honestly just for us to be able to access the building without carrying the door down.
Yeah.
You know, I talked to the mayor about it. His door's really nice over there at Bengal's, and I would
He
hate to
would
have to cut
not.
holes through it. When for $400 he can put a box on the wall. So they're cheap enough that I don't think we'll have any pushback on it.
I'm good with that.
I would make a motion to adopt ordinance number 27, an ordinance of the town of Hochatown, amending the town code of ordinances, adding the requirement for Knox box emergency access systems for commercial buildings.
I'll second it.
Howard Hager.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Todd McDaniel.
Yes.
Chad Sargent is absent. Brenda Walters.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 25, discussion, consideration, and possible action to adopt the emergency clause of ordinance number 27.
Make a motion to adopt the emergency clause of ordinance 27.
I'll second that.
Howard Hager.
Yes.
No, you're good, right? I know, then I'll say something.
Howard Hager.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Todd McDaniel.
Yes.
Chad Sargent is absent. Brenda Walters.
Yes.
Motion carries.
I typically put that emergency ordinance, or that emergency clause in there so we don't have to publish the full ordinance.
That's what I was gonna ask.
I'm gonna publish the full ordinance anyway on this one, because I think it's good for people to see that this is coming, otherwise they don't know anything about it. Obviously, we'll probably put a letter together
For sure.
to send out, but even though we don't have to publish the full ordinance on this one, I'm going to. And that'll go out in the paper within the next 14 days.
And I've already done the paperwork on the Knox side, sorry. We had to draw out our districts, I did off of one of Skip's maps. So anybody this area, in our municipality that needs one, when they get on there and do it, it pops up for us. And when they get that, it's key to our key. So I know Roseville has one, I don't know if Roseville has one. Anybody in the commercial business in Hochatown that orders one, it's key to our key, so all that's already done. We already have the keys, actually, so.
Is this a single source? Like can they buy it from multiple places, or does
No,
it have to go
through Knox.
directly to Knox?
Yes, sir.
We should just probably put that on the website and make an interface for it.
Okay, I'll get with Shelley or you when we leave.
Okay. Discussion, consideration, item number 26. Discussion, consideration, and possible action to adopt resolution number 2026-04, expressing support for Senate Bill 4505 and any successor or companion federal legislation directing the United States Postal Service to designate a unique zip code for the town of Hochatown.
I have a little discussion, not much. We've got some forward movement on our zip code bills. You know, we started out with one. I think we're now up to 6 or 7 bills. But that's good because it's showing the senators that there's a lot of other people who have the exact same needs. There's like 4 reasons, and every single town, 80 towns in 22 states, all have the exact same 4 reasons. And so that message is being heard. And so the movement we had just a couple of weeks ago was they took 2 of the bills and combined them into one bill. So we're not really looking at anything new. It's just combining the 2 bills that would put all of the towns in one bill, which gives us a lot more leverage to get it passed instead of just Hochatown asking for something. You've got 80 towns in 22 states, you know, both parties, it's bipartisan support. We're a little bit closer, but we're not there. But we do have a new U.S. Senator, so it would be nice to just go ahead and do another resolution and go ahead and send it to Josh McKean and both of our U.S. Senators.
There is the resolution.
I would like a motion to adopt resolution 2026-04, expressing support of Senate Bill 4505 and any other successor companion legislation directing the designation of a unique zip code for the town of Hochatown.
I'll second.
Howard Haggard.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Todd McDaniel.
Yes.
Chad Sargent is absent. Brenda Walters.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item number 27, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding approval of a $3,900 tuition payment and related expenses for Town Administrator Adam Boston's participation in Leadership Oklahoma Class 39. We get to send him to school?
What's that?
We get to send him to school?
I was lucky enough to have the honor of being selected for Leadership Oklahoma Class 39. And I just want to say thank you to this board for all of your support in getting me there. Without you guys being there and backing me and advocating for me and investing in me and my education and experience here, I definitely wouldn't have made the selection. So thank you to you guys, the board, and to this great community for supporting me and writing letters of support, and to Michelle Finch and to Tina Hanna for those letters of support as well. So thank you all.
I would just add for anybody in the room that's not familiar with Leadership Oklahoma, it is a tremendous honor to, especially at Adam's age, to be and experience to be admitted. I mean, there are going to be people 20 and 30 years older than him that have applied multiple times to this. So it's a really big deal. I'm super proud of him. Yes. You guys should absolutely support him, and I'll punch anybody who votes no.
I'll make a motion that we approve the $3,900 tuition payment
And related expenses.
and related expenses for the Town Administrator Adam Boston's participation in Leadership Oklahoma Class of 39.
I'll second.
Howard Haggard.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Todd McDaniel.
Yes.
Chad Sargent is absent. Brenda Walters.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right. Item number 28, discussion and consideration and possible action regarding annual renewal of contract with Granicus LLC for the provision of services related to lodging tax administration and collection services. I have something I'd like to discuss on this, but you guys may have the same thoughts. And basically, it's just, I believe we should, give our staff the authority to negotiate with Granicus before we enter into another agreement with them.
I would just like to add staff and legal counsel.
Yeah, I obviously will, I've been assisting behind the scenes, but we'll help with that. Our timing on this is if we're going to not renew or we're going to insist on change terms is July 2nd. So we will engage in those conversations very quickly. Ideally with the ability to present maybe some revised terms to you before July 2nd so that we still have time to make a final decision. So we may need to call a special meeting after Adam and Skip and Julie and I continue those ongoing conversations. But that's what we would like permission from you to essentially let them know we don't want to renew under the current terms.
We're not afraid to change vendors.
But
We don't like doing it.
just a point of information here from you, that the July 2nd is the notification piece, then we have 90 days between there and renewal, right?
If we, what I don't know what will happen when we say we're not going to, because we have to tell them yes or no, we're not renewing by July 2nd.
Right.
And if we do that, I think we probably could still negotiate during that period of time, but we're technically not renewed then. We would be starting with a whole new contract. So I think technically, legally, if we just said we're not renewing, we're clean, we have a clean slate at that
Just to
point.
clarify, what I'm suggesting is that the 90 days of the current contract extends beyond July.
It goes to October.
Correct,
It goes to
that's
October.
correct, it still goes for 90 days.
At the current terms.
Yes,
At the
at the current
current
term. But if we don't, and just to clarify her point again, if we don't give them this non-renewal, we don't have, there's no negotiation, it's an auto renewal.
It'll roll right back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good. Rita, you good?
So,
So is this written as we want it to be written here?
I don't think so.
Liz, help us with the language here.
I think that you could, I made a couple suggestion motions, I think you could just authorize legal counsel to notify them that we, do not want to renew the current version of the contract.
Okay.
And then that would mean we either don't renew anything or we bring you guys renegotiated terms sometime between now and 90 days and less. I expect that would be what happens.
Let's see if she's got the verbiage down right.
I have the recording.
Oh, you have it recorded, okay.
So our motion is to authorize legal counsel and our staff to notify Granicus that we do not wish to proceed with the contract under the current terms and conditions.
I second that.
Howard Haggard?
I would just say maybe not renew instead of not proceed.
Yeah.
Because it's not, we wanna make sure we're not alleging
Not canceled.
a termination, we're just not renewing, so, without.
Howard Haggard?
Yes.
Diane Jordan?
Yes.
Todd McDaniel?
Yes.
Chad Sargent is absent. Brenda Walters?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 29, discussion, consideration, and possible action to convene into executive session as follows. Pursuant to Title 25 Oklahoma Statute, Section 307B1, discuss the employment, hiring, appointment, demotion, promotion, disciplining, or resignation of Ryan Gillum. And B, pursuant to Title 25 of the Oklahoma Statute, Section 307B4, to discuss confidential communications between the town and the town's attorneys concerning a pending investigation, claim, or action which the town, with the advice of the town's attorneys, has determined that this disclosure will seriously impair the ability of the town to process the claim or conduct the pending investigation, litigation, or proceeding in the public interest in compliance with its duty of confidentiality related to the Sheldon Frank versus Town of Hochatown, CV 202644.
Make a motion to go into executive session.
I'll second that. Oops, sorry.
Howard Haggard?
Yes.
Diane Jordan?
Yes.
Todd McDaniel?
Yes.
Chad Sargent is absent. Brenda Walters?
Yes.
Motion carries at 2:56.
Call to order. Item number,
Make a motion, we reconvene in regular session.
I'll second that.
Howard Haggard?
Yes.
Diane Jordan?
Yes.
Todd McDaniel.
Yes.
Chad Sargent is absent. Brenda Walters.
Yes.
Motion carries at 3:54 p.m.
Thirty-one, okay, here we go. Pursuant, statement of executive session minutes, I need to restate those, I guess. Pursuant to Title 25 Oklahoma Statute, Section 307B1, discuss the employment, hiring, appointment, demotion, promotion, discipline, or resignation of Ryan Gillen. And B, pursuant to Title 25 Oklahoma Statute, Section 307B4, discuss confidential communications between the town and town's attorneys concerning a pending investigation, claim, or action which the town, with the advice of the town's attorney, has determined that disclosure will seriously impair the ability of the town to process the claim or conduct the pending investigation, litigation, or proceeding in the public interest in compliance with its duty of confidentiality related to Sheldon Frank versus Town of Hochatown, CV 2026-44. Item number 32, discussion, consideration, and possible action on any discussion from the executive session.
I think you have to stay in 31, but there was no.
Oh, no action. No action was taken during executive session. Now, 30, discussion, consideration, and possible action on any discussion from executive session.
I would like to make a motion to offer a position of fireman to Ryan Gillen at a rate of $20 per hour, subject to all the necessary and appropriate background checks. Is that the right wording?
And physical.
And physical.
I would just add, as advertised in the publication of the open position.
As advertised in the publication of the open position.
I'll second it.
Howard Haggard.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Todd McDaniel.
Yes.
Chad Sargent is absent. Brenda Walters.
Yes.
Motion carried.
And nothing on the.
And nothing on, no action on item B. Item number 33, new business, any matter not known of which could not have been reasonably foreseen prior to the time of posting the agenda. Do we have any new business?
No new business.
Item number 34, discussion, consideration, and possible action to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Howard Haggard.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Todd McDaniel.
Yes.
Chad Sargent is absent. Brenda Walters.
Yes.
Motion carries at 3:57.